With day game tomorrow, who's your goalie going to be?
The goalie? Call us off.
Are there any lineup changes for tomorrow?
I have no idea what the lineup's going to be.
With Matt Bay, he's been back a few games now since he was a healthy scratch. Have you seen any of the adjustments that you wanted to see from him and in terms of structure and positioning and puck support?
It's a work in progress. Yeah.
It looked like Cam York was going through some drills with Travis Sanheim, taking more contact. Is there an excitement level that,
I don't know if he's in or not.
Speaking about the defense, obviously you guys have had a lot of guys out, and not just a lot of guys out, but a lot of guys who are adept at moving the puck. Mm-hmm. Not to say that Sanheim can do it, but these are three guys that can move the puck really well. For you, obviously you're teaching, you're trying to have the team play well against these tough teams, but is it harder to evaluate the team's play knowing what you guys are missing on the back end in those games?
Yeah, I don't. I think with transition, it's a little bit of a hindrance, right? Although I think Granz has come in and showed us some really good stuff as far as making plays. And, Emil, when he came in, you could see immediately. And again, hasn't played a lot, not a lot of games, but he helped our transition right away. And Yorkie, Yorkie's going to get us out of our end zone, but Yorkie's one of our better defenders. Yeah, and Jamie's still trying to learn. There's a lot of things going on with him that we've got to teach, but I'm not going to blame it on that. I just like the last game. I don't think I thought our first period was good. Second period wasn't bad, but third period they fed it to us, and we had no answer. It was disappointing to me that we didn't have any type of answer. But I'm not going to blame it on injuries or anything like that. I think we have some people at least to try to stop some of the bleeding that was going on in that third period. We didn't.
I remember you did a practice last year in California. The Sharks had just given up 10 goals in back-to-back games, and it seemed like a pretty hard practice. And I remember you were kind of demonstrative talking to them afterwards. I'm assuming trying to make the point that this team's struggling, but you guys got to take care of your own business. Is that sort of thing that you still have to remind them? And no disrespect to Chicago, but it's a lesser team, and you can't get away. You can't get in that your head.
We have no business thinking that way. Yeah, we're in the midst of what we're trying to do here, and we can't differentiate how the good teams, the bad teams. Where are we? We have to just continue to find our way and how we're going to play. And again, I don't want to be too negative about it, because I think for a bit here we have found some of that. For a bit in the Carolina game, I thought we stood in there, but we could not sustain it. The third period was just abysmal, and we had nothing. But we got to move by it. And all I'm concerned about is no matter who we play, is just working on our game and trying to work on that checking forward and trying to be aggressive and go about it that way.
I know. I get the impression you don't want to talk about him too much, but with Michkov, have you seen improvements from the start of the season to now? Have you seen him picking up things that you're trying to get across to him?
Away from the puck? Or
all of it?
Yeah. He's coachable. There's still a lot of things that needs to be worked on. I think he's getting better understanding me on the bench. That's the hard part for me, is within the game itself, I don't have enough time to go down there and make sure he understands. Willie's down there, Rock. I use Rock during the game. That's been it puts him it hurts that type of communication. I think that's getting better. I think he's trying. I think there's a lot we need to work on, and we talked about this in the summer. We knew he was going to help our power play. The power play, I won't say a word to him. Go play. He's the one who sees the ice the way he does and does some great things with that. But the 5-on-5 play, we knew that's going to take time. He's coming here in the best league in the world, 19-year-old, and he's not going to pick everything up right away. So the onus is on us to try to help him through that.
I know you talked on TNT about the meetings you're having with them.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you're kind of connecting with them on a level? I mean, it strikes me you guys are kind of similar. You know, you're both really competitive guys.
Mhm.
You've talked about his competitiveness. You're obviously competitive.
Yeah.
Do you sense that there's sort of a bond forming between you two? the two
Yeah,
of you?
I think we're finding our way. Just like the reason why I try not to, with him, I don't want added pressure put on him that it's Mish and the team. That's not the way this is. That's not the way it's going to work here. He is a player with a skill that we need, but he's not the answer to Stava. I forget who said it. When I heard the word savior, kiss my ass. I mean, that's so wrong to say that about him. It's not fair to him. And that's the way we're trying to conduct it. We're trying to integrate him with the team, integrate his family, his mom and brother, and just try to get them situated and then slowly teach him with this. As far as our relationship, I don't think we've had a bad relationship from the get-go. Yeah. From when he sits, things happen. I have to make decisions, but then we move just like every other player. I move right by it, and we've had that discussion. We've gone on to other things. So yeah, I love his competitiveness. It's our job is to make sure he stays on the right rails with that, and teach him the other part. There are a number of things that we have to go through, but he's been very receptive as far as all the things we're doing with him. Sometimes we give him too much, and Willie has been a really good conduit for me. After meetings, we'll have a team meeting, we're doing things on the board, and I make sure Willie gets to him and make sure he understands it.
John,
I generally don't like to use the iPad, but with Mitchkov, would that be something you would consider just while you're trying to build these communications, would he maybe see it better versus talking to him?
There's a fine line there too. He was taking that iPad every shift, I think, watching himself play, his plays. But I think it's really important that a young guy watches how the game's being played too, and watching the momentums of the game as far as what's going on, because that may determine, instead of him trying to make a play and make a little backhand pass in the middle of the ice, when we're getting it fed to us, sometimes even him has to get the puck in. There's no, we're trying to let him go, but there's certain times in the game we have to fight another day. I think he misses that when he's always looking at the iPad. And when he's looking at the iPad, he's not looking at our team concept, right, in between. He's looking at his plays. And I think players need to do that. But for a young man trying to understand how we play away from the puck, a young player, period, I think they need to watch the game. I think that is a lost art in understanding what's going on. I think you can learn, like I've said, upstairs or even on the bench in between your shifts. You can watch other people and what they do, and more importantly, watch momentums of games. I think that's really important for a young player.
John, based on line rushes today and the power play, it seemed like Morgan Frost is back in the rotation. Are you willing to say if he's going to play tomorrow?
Right now, a lot of things with roster spots, IR, this and that, guys hurt, but I think Frosty's going to play tomorrow. Yeah, I'm really anxious to see him play.
I guess what specifically are you looking for him that he wasn't showing you in
Everything.
the prior?
I don't know what else to tell you. It's pretty evident what I'm looking for. It's all facets of the game, and I've seen Frosty answer. I saw him answer last year and play pretty well. Hope he does it.
John, it's no secret you guys probably need, more scoring from some of your younger wingers, the Brinks, the Forsters, Tippett's, Farabees. I'm wondering what your confidence level is in those guys to start picking it up.
Yeah. All we can do is try to help them. I'm really frustrated with the third period. It sucks being a punching bag, and that's what we felt we were in that third period. And but I got to put that aside, and we got to try to. The only thing we can do, I'm not sure who asked me, how do you get more offense? How do you get more offense out of your centers? And all we can do is keep on trying to help them, trying to get them in the spots. And the only way coaches can help offense, I call it manufacturing offense, making sure when we don't have plays, get it in and let's grind a little bit. Let's work in the blue paint. And I think they've improved that way. So it's not to criticize them and hate your team because you don't have any offense. We got to try to help them. And that's all we're going to try to do. And hopefully Tyson's close. You can see part of that. Tyson's close. Tips in and out. Everybody talks about the centers. We need help from the wings because that was a big part of what helped us last year, with those two guys especially. And Bees' first half. Bees had a really good first half, fell off, but we need that now. It's not just the centers, it's our whole group. Coots had a great first half, fell off. Right, there's a big struggle there with him as far as scoring. So it's not one particular position, it's our team. So we're going to try to stay positive and just keep on trying to bang away.
You're facing Connor Bedard, another young player. He's actually someone who just got moved off center to a wing.
Yeah.
How do you maybe face someone with such a skill set now where he's not maybe as dedicated to the defense?
I don't even think about it. I don't. There's no special thoughts. We're certainly aware of his skill. Again, we don't spend much time talking about the other team or that. We have enough things going on with our club. We've got to worry about our team and go about it that way. Obviously, we need to know when he's on the ice. He's a quality player. But there's no special defense or special things we're going about. We're just going to try to play our game.
Without getting into the medical stuff, can you just talk about York a little bit? If he's more comfortable out there? Does he look like he's making some progress?
Yeah, it looks like to me. Yeah, I haven't talked to the medical guys, so I have no information anyway. Looks good to me.